What if Einstein's greatest secrets weren't in his published equations, but in private conversations classified for decades? Journey with us through the quantum doorways of Einstein's mind, where matter transforms but never dies, where time exists as an illusion, and where particles remain eternally connected across the cosmos. These revolutionary insights from history's greatest physicist don't just reshape our understanding of physics, they challenge everything we believe about consciousness, existence, and what happens when we die. Don't let this mind-bending knowledge pass you by. Hit subscribe now, activate notifications, and join our cosmic community as we explore the universe's deepest mysteries every week. Albert Einstein's groundbreaking equation E=mc2 fundamentally transformed our understanding of the physical universe and inadvertently opened philosophical doors to contemplating the eternal nature of existence. This elegant mathematical formula revealed that matter and energy are not separate entities, but interchangeable manifestations of the same cosmic substance. What appears as solid matter is, in reality, incredibly concentrated energy, while energy itself is the liberated dynamic expression of what was once matter. This revolutionary concept provides a scientific framework that bears striking parallels to ancient philosophical ideas about the cyclical transformation of being. Einstein himself reflected on this profound interconnection when he noted, "Energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be changed from one form to another." Though he was speaking strictly about physics, this principle resonates deeply with concepts of reincarnation found across diverse spiritual traditions. If the fundamental building blocks of our physical bodies are energy that cannot be destroyed but only transformed, what implications might this hold for consciousness? Einstein's work suggests that nothing truly disappears from the universe. It merely changes form in an eternal cosmic dance. When we observe the death of a living organism, what we're witnessing is not obliteration but transformation. The complex arrangements of energy that constituted the physical form reorganize and disperse, but every quantum of energy continues to exist in some form. As Einstein wrote in a letter to the Besso family after the death of his dear friend Michel, Besso, "Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing. People like us, who believe in physics, know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." While Einstein never publicly endorsed beliefs about reincarnation of consciousness, his scientific revelations about the indestructible nature of energy have provided a fascinating scientific metaphor for the continuity of existence. The atoms that compose our bodies today have existed since the early universe, recycled countlessly through stars, planets, and perhaps innumerable life forms before temporarily assembling into our current configuration. As Einstein observed, "We are slowed down sound and light waves, a walking bundle of frequencies tuned into the cosmos." This scientific understanding of matter as condensed energy presents a vision of the universe where nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. Einstein's work illuminates a reality where particles engage in a cosmic recycling program billions of years old, where the elements in our bodies once fueled distant stars and will again take new forms long after our current manifestation has dispersed. In this light, existence itself appears as an undying flame that changes form but never extinguishes, drawing us closer to contemplating what reincarnation might mean in a universe where energy merely transforms rather than disappears. Einstein's revolutionary theory of relativity fundamentally altered our understanding of time, challenging our intuitive perception of a universal now, and opening unexplored avenues for considering consciousness beyond linear temporal constraints. Before Einstein, time was largely viewed as an absolute, flowing uniformly throughout the universe. His theory shattered this notion, revealing that time is relative, flexible, and interwoven with space in a four-dimensional fabric called spacetime. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion, Einstein famously remarked, suggesting that our experience of sequential moments is not an absolute truth, but rather a perceptual limitation. This revelation about the nature of time carries profound implications for contemplating consciousness and existence. If time is not a rigid, universal constant, but a relative dimension dependent on the observer, then our conventional understanding of birth, death, and the linear progression of life becomes questionable. Einstein elaborated on this when he wrote to the family of his deceased friend, Michel Besso. "Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing. People like us, who believe in physics, know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." This statement suggests that from a higher dimensional perspective, all moments might exist simultaneously, with our consciousness somehow moving through this landscape, or focusing on different points within it. The theory of relativity demonstrates that time dilates or slows down as velocity increases, reaching a theoretical standstill at the speed of light. Simultaneously, space contracts. At light speed, if it were possible for consciousness to achieve, time would effectively stop and all distances would collapse to zero. As Einstein noted, for us believing physicists, the distinction between past, present, and future is only an illusion, however persistent. In this framework, the entire history of the universe, past, present, and future, exists as a complete, four-dimensional block where all events are equally real. Our perception of flowing time may be comparable to moving a flashlight along the pages of a book that is already fully written. This scientific understanding offers an intriguing parallel to certain spiritual concepts of reincarnation. If all moments exist simultaneously in space-time, then perhaps what we perceive as separate lifetimes could be understood as different coordinates within this continuum, all existing concurrently rather than sequentially. Consciousness might not truly die and be reborn in a linear sense, but rather shift its focus across different regions of the space-time continuum. Einstein himself, though not endorsing such spiritual interpretations, provided the mathematical framework that makes such contemplations possible when he observed that reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The implications extend further when considering Einstein's work on unified field theory, his unfinished attempt to reconcile general relativity with quantum mechanics. He sought a unified understanding of all fundamental forces and particles in nature, believing in an underlying order and unity to all physical phenomena. "I want to know God's thoughts," he said. "The rest are details." This quest for unity suggests a perspective where separate identities and individual existences might be understood as manifestations of a more fundamental unified field, different expressions of the same underlying reality rather than truly separate entities. Einstein's space-time theory thus provides a scientific framework that challenges our conventional understanding of existence as isolated points on a linear timeline. Instead, it presents a universe where past, present, and future coexist, where time is relative to the observer, and where what we perceive as separate moments may be connected in ways that transcend our everyday experience of reality. While Albert Einstein revolutionized physics with his theories of relativity, he remained deeply troubled by certain aspects of quantum mechanics until his death. Ironically, one of the quantum phenomena he found most disturbing, which he famously called spooky action at a distance, has become a cornerstone of modern quantum physics and offers fascinating parallels to philosophical concepts of interconnected consciousness that transcend conventional boundaries of space and time. Quantum entanglement describes a phenomenon where pairs or groups of particles become connected in such a way that the quantum state of each particle cannot be described, independently of the others, regardless of the distance separating them. When one entangled particle is measured, the corresponding property of its partner becomes instantly determined, even if they are at opposite ends of the universe. Einstein found this apparent instantaneous communication deeply problematic, as it seemed to violate his firmly established principle that nothing, including information, could travel faster than light. In the 1947 letter to Max Born, Einstein wrote, "I cannot seriously believe in quantum theory because it cannot be reconciled with the idea that physics should represent a reality in time and space, free from spooky actions at a distance." His skepticism stemmed from a belief in local realism, the view that physical reality exists independently of observation and that effects cannot propagate faster than light. Yet subsequent experiments, particularly those confirming Bell's inequalities in the 1980s, have repeatedly validated quantum entanglement as a genuine feature of our universe, forcing scientists to accept what Einstein could not. Particles can, indeed, be connected in ways that transcend our classical understanding of space and time. This profound interconnectedness, discovered in the quantum realm, bears striking resemblance to certain philosophical concepts related to consciousness and reincarnation found across various wisdom traditions. If elementary particles that once interacted remain permanently connected, regardless of spatial separation, might consciousness, whatever its fundamental nature may be, exhibit similar properties of non-local connection. Einstein's unwitting contribution to discovering this bizarre quantum property provides a scientific metaphor for understanding how consciousness might maintain connections across different manifestations or lifetimes. As physicist David Bohm later suggested, building upon Einstein's work, perhaps reality consists of an implicate order where everything is deeply interconnected, with our perceived separate existences being merely explicate expressions of a more fundamental unity. Einstein's famous quote, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious," takes on new significance when considering these quantum implications. Though he rejected quantum theory's philosophical conclusions, the universe he helped unveil through mathematics appears increasingly to be one where connection transcends spatial boundaries. When Einstein wrote, "A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space," he was expressing a philosophical intuition that quantum entanglement seems to support scientifically, that separateness may be more illusory than we typically assume. Recent experiments have taken quantum entanglement to new extremes, demonstrating entanglement between particles that never coexisted in time. One particle can become entangled with another that has already been measured and no longer exists in its original form. This entanglement in time further blurs the boundaries between past, present, and future in ways that align with Einstein's relativity, while extending into territories he found philosophically troubling. If particles can maintain connections across time itself, this offers a tantalizing scientific analogy for how consciousness might maintain continuity across different manifestations or lifetimes. Although Einstein never embraced these quantum implications, his critical engagement with quantum theory paradoxically helped establish its foundation. His famous thought experiments challenging quantum mechanics, developed with Boris Podolsky and Nathan Rosen, the EPR paradox, ultimately led to deeper understanding of entanglement itself. When Einstein declared, "I cannot believe that God plays dice with the cosmos," he was rejecting quantum indeterminacy, yet the universe revealed through subsequent quantum research suggests a reality even stranger than random dice throws, one where everything is connected through an underlying unity that transcends our conventional understanding of separation in both space and time. Albert Einstein maintained a complex and nuanced relationship with religion throughout his life, rejecting traditional anthropomorphic conceptions of God while simultaneously embracing what he termed a cosmic religious sense, a profound reverence for the rational order and harmony underlying the universe. This philosophical orientation, while distinct from conventional religious frameworks, offers a unique perspective for contemplating the relationship between consciousness and cosmos that resonates with certain aspects of reincarnation philosophy. "I believe in Spinoza's God," Einstein famously declared, "who reveals himself in the lawful harmony of all that exists, but not in a God who concerns himself with the fate and the doings of mankind." This statement encapsulates Einstein's spiritual worldview, one that perceived divinity not as a personal being, but as the magnificent mathematical order undergirding reality itself. Einstein elaborated on this cosmic religious sense in his essay, Religion and Science, where he wrote, "The individual feels the nothingness of human desires and aims and the sublimity and marvelous order which reveal themselves both in nature and in the world of thought. He looks upon individual existence as a sort of prison and wants to experience the universe as a single significant whole." This sentiment expresses a yearning to transcend the limitations of individual identity and connect with something greater, a perspective that shares conceptual territory with philosophies that view individual incarnations as temporary expressions of a more fundamental consciousness. While Einstein never endorsed reincarnation directly, his cosmic religious sense emphasized the interconnection between all existence and the transient nature of individual manifestation. Throughout his writings and interviews, Einstein consistently expressed skepticism toward the notion of personal immortality in the traditional religious sense. "I cannot conceive of a God who rewards and punishes his creatures," he wrote, "or has a will of the kind that we experience in ourselves." Yet simultaneously, he maintained that the individual who has deeply embraced a cosmic religious perspective has no use for the religion of fear and equally little for social or moral religion. Instead, such an individual recognizes a profound unity with all of existence that transcends personal concerns about death and afterlife. As Einstein expressed it, "A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness." This optical delusion that Einstein identified, the perception of separateness, lies at the heart of many spiritual traditions that embrace reincarnation. While Einstein approached this insight through the lens of scientific rationality rather than mysticism, his perspective nonetheless converges with ancient wisdom traditions in recognizing that our perception of ourselves as disconnected entities represents a fundamental misapprehension of reality. "Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison," Einstein continued in the passage quoted above, "by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." This expansion of identity beyond the confines of individual selfhood parallels philosophical frameworks that view separate incarnations as different expressions of an underlying consciousness that transcends individual manifestations. Einstein's scientific work further reinforced this philosophical outlook. His unification of space and time into spacetime, his revelation that matter and energy are interchangeable forms of the same substance, and his lifelong quest for a unified field theory all pointed toward an underlying unity in nature that belies surface appearances of separation and discontinuity. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible, Einstein marveled, suggesting that the human mind's ability to grasp cosmic laws indicates a fundamental resonance between consciousness and cosmos that transcends coincidence. This perspective opens avenues for contemplating whether consciousness might be as fundamental to reality as space, time, matter, and energy, not merely an epiphenomenon of material processes, but an intrinsic aspect of the universe itself. In his later years, as Einstein continued his solitary quest for a unified field theory that would reveal the underlying harmony of all physical phenomena, his philosophical outlook increasingly emphasized the limitations of human perspective in comprehending ultimate reality. "What I see in nature is a magnificent structure," he wrote, "that we can comprehend only very imperfectly, and that must fill a thinking person with a feeling of humility. This humility before the mysteries of existence, coupled with his conviction in an underlying rational order, characterizes Einstein's cosmic religion, a perspective that neither affirms nor denies concepts like reincarnation, but places them within a broader context of questioning our fundamental relationship to the universe that birthed us. Expand your consciousness, like Einstein expanded physics. Subscribe now and join our cosmic journey.